Greetings, Earthlings. You are joining us on yet another unbelievably special flight here. We have today not only one of the most influential and important artists of our entire world, but the most licensed artist of all time, an incredible human being who has beat all odds to become who he is today, gives back to the community, is constantly just filling the world with love and passion and all good things. So we have the one and only Romero Britto!
Wow, what a beautiful introduction, Emily. Thank you so much. I'm about to cry.
No, I feel all of those things about you. And
thank you.
Anybody that you've been in their orbit, no pun intended, I'm sure feels the same way. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a great introduction again. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Before we started the podcast, we actually were talking a little bit about outer space. And I know that you have a little interest in it, and you're maybe.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm always very curious. Actually, I did a whole series of paintings and drawings inspired on that because Lucas was, we were having a conversation about space. He said, "Oh, Romero, you definitely should do some paintings about that." So I did, like space ships, and I did aliens. It was very interesting, very beautiful. Yeah,
that's very.
I would love to show you both when you come to visit me.
Yeah. We have an invite to the
studio.
And we are going.
Yes, please.
So for those of you out there that maybe don't know a little bit about your younger life, do you mind sharing how you got started? Because I know that you started painting or drawing when you were 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was so long ago, but I do remember. Thank God. And I grew up in Brazil. My mother was pregnant 12 times. I think it's incredible that she did that. I mean, I don't know. My mother was definitely a hero. I would give to her the status superwoman.
Yeah.
And pregnant 12 times. She was a single mother. Can you believe in that?
Like mine.
Unbelievable. Wow. And then, but only 9 of us survived. And I'm the number 8. And it was me, my younger sister. She was the youngest of all. And then she passed away last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And then I grew up in a big family, big problems. My mother was the mother, the father, everything.
Yeah.
And she always wanted to keep us together in one place. And I always loved to do drawings. When I was a kid, whatever I could put my hand on, paper or the wall of my mother's house. Going to school, I used to be so bored, and I used to do drawings in my notebooks. And one day my mother told me, "Oh, you can't do drawings on those paper because there's no money to buy more, paper for you to do your homework. Those books for you to do homework.
Yeah, notebooks.
And notebooks. And anyway, so it was growing up in Brazil but something really happened very special was that we live in the same street. Imagine if you are like, Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
And there's the water, the ocean, and then you go to the bay. The bay would be like where the poor people lives. And the street was very long. The beach was where everybody that has beautiful homes, like amazing houses. And the beach was like open to everybody, and we used to go to the beach quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then one day we met this family from England, and this family from England was the daughter and the son, and my sister and I became friends with them, and the mother was very happy because probably they wanted to have friends Brazilian.
Yeah.
And I asked her where they live, and they live the same street. We're in different stream, and then one day we go to visit, and I became like. I always wanted to go to their house, and I was wishing one day they would adopt me and take me to England or something like that.
Fantasize.
Away from my house, because I love going there. My sister and I, we love going. Then the father of my friend was a diplomat, and that's how the idea of being a diplomat, because it was like, God, I could travel the world, I could go everywhere, and I could live in this beautiful home with like.
You thought it was your ticket out, maybe.
Yeah, that was my thing, and so I dreamed so much. I went all the way to law school.
That's right.
But when I went to law
your
school,
fourth semester.
my fourth semester, and then I was so miserable. I was very young, and I don't know how I did such a decision. I was like, this is not for me.
Wow.
And I had a chance through this family. I met so many people, and one of them I asked, At that time, I used to ask things to people I don't ask anymore.
Do you tell
here
them?
and there.
Yeah.
So I told them, oh my God, I would love to learn English. And one of the families said, oh, I have a school for English. You can come and have a class there. So I learned English in Brazil, you know. I think I speak a little bit better now.
You speak
And,
perfectly.
And then I was able to spend 1 year in Europe, in different people's houses that I met. And everybody wanted to host a Brazilian.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to Brazil. But I was always like I always tried to do something. I was not the kind of person that stayed without doing anything. And I wanted to make money. And I'm sure when you went to Brazil, you see kids selling stuff on the street.
Yeah.
So I was like that. I was always trying to figure out something.
Selling your art?
Yeah, I sold my art. You know, I sold there was a time I wanted to do a nursery, and then in the backyard of my mother's house, I wanted to take care of plants. So I did, you know, I used to bring those plants to a supermarket to sell.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I was
Forever.
always doing something. And then I was able to buy my ticket to go to Europe. I spent 1 year there. Like I went in an airline from Air Paraguay, from my town to Madrid. And then from Madrid to Paris, I went by train. I
sounds
went
like
by
Jem's
train
dreams.
everywhere.
How did you make money in that year that you were in Europe?
I mean, I came with like $1,000, and then I used to show my work around, and then I sold my work to whoever I would meet. I had a show actually in a place called Casa do Brasil in Madrid, and I made some money there. But my work I was selling for less money, but you know, I used to save really well.
Wow.
I mean, for me to eat a burger,
Yeah.
I used to think like 10 times for me to buy the burger or something like that. But you know, one thing that was very good is like whatever house that I was staying, people's house, I made myself like not one of those guests that is a pain,
Right.
but I used to clean their house, I used to wash their cars, whatever I could
You were
do
a good guest.
to stay there, and they would let me stay longer.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Make a good impression.
yeah, when I was in Sweden, I stayed in the house with this family that I met the son, and then the father was in the military, and really high up there, like some sort of a general. And then I stayed there for the longest, almost 4 months.
Wow.
You know, and my friend was working in Vienna, and I stayed. The parents loved me, and I used to, you know, I did so many. Wash their cars, wash the bathroom. I did everything that I could do to stay there. And the mother loves my art, and she showed to a bunch of people in this because it was outside Stockholm. And I sold a lot of my work in Sweden, and I saved a lot of money, so it was good.
Do you still talk to any of those people?
Yeah, I've been in touch. Like Henrik, the parents died, so but like from Sweden, some of them, yes, I still in touch. Not as much, but you know,
Right.
so
Life.
so many things change. You know,
It's
I
remarkable.
would love to be in touch with everybody, but it's really hard.
Me too.
I know.
It's so hard.
Yeah, and then I went back to Brazil, and then a friend of mine came to study here in Miami, Leonardo, and I came to visit him here, and that's when I decided about quitting law school, and and I wanted to go back to Europe, but I came to Miami and I visited a little bit, like very much. I didn't realize how much I love it.
Yeah.
And then what I did was like, when I went to Europe, I was like, God, I love Europe, but Europe is so like old world. And I was like,
True.
maybe
You
I
wanted
should be in a
fresh.
place more dynamic, and Miami had that.
And what
I-
year was this?
was like
Around.
end of 85, 86.
Nice.
And so I came here and I never left. I thought I would leave one day, Los Angeles or New York, but I love Miami little by little. It's just like the city has been amazing to me, and the people. And then I live ever since. I go everywhere, you know. And I used to have a house upstate New York that I used to go every summer. My son was growing up. We used to go there because his mother was from there. And we used to have, you know, the whole summer spending there painting there. It wasn't a house in the country. And but Miami's being like, I always, wherever I travel, I feel like I'm coming back home. You know, it's
Miami,
great. Yeah.
Miami loves you, and I
Absolutely.
feel like you are, in a way, like Miami is your canvas.
No, thank you.
And even just Chris, our producer, one of our producers, we were talking to him, and he's like, you know, he has a double heart transplant, and he said every time I was rolled into surgery at Jackson, he would see one of your pieces,
Oh, yeah.
and it, you know, brings a smile maybe in a dark time. Do you feel like you've been able to play with Miami as a city with your art? Like, how do you, these big pieces and, you know, buildings, and how did you get to that?
Well, I mean, it's so special because my town is a big city that I grew up. I didn't grow up in the city. I was outside, suburbia. But Miami, I always thought about the buildings, the buildings and the roads are
Right.
so wide. And I remember getting inspiration about when there was, rainy days, driving in the evening, and you see the reflection of the buildings, the light, the cars, and everything. So I mean, it was always sort of inspiration for me, and it's been ever since, And they call the ocean and the blue sky all the time, and very rarely we have a great day here in Miami.
I
But it's
know.
always sunny, and the beaches and the people, the vibe of Miami is always so up because I think it's because Miami is such a young city and there's a flow of people constantly coming over here. And the people come over here with a very high spirits. They come for vacation, having a good time. And the people who lives here really get into this mood about because the temperature, the weather and everything, the people,
Right.
that you feel like you're in vacation year round because wherever you turn around looks like paradise. Water, green, everything. It's like I love it.
Yeah, that's I feel like people either love it or they have some issues with it. I love Miami, but it is really hot these days.
Yeah. No, but I mean, listen, Miami definitely it get warm, but
Warm.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
I used
Brazil is hot.
to be super annoyed about because of sweat, but I got used to it, And I think what happened that because we spend so much time inside air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
But as you keep it, like if you open more the door of your car and you have more outdoors activities, you end up getting used to it,
Yeah.
But you have to wear very few clothes, not a lot. Basically, go to the office in a bikini or something.
I mean, Miami, you see, another plus of Miami.
It's an
Yeah.
incredible place.
Yeah, I don't need to have a lot of clothes too. Also, I do have a lot of clothes, but when you come to the palace, my studio, I'm gonna show you my closet.
Speaking of, if you're out there and you're watching us right now, we are wearing some crispy white jumpsuits, and it is the
I know.
only time we're going to do so.
only
Tell them why,
time.
Jem.
Well, because this is a very special day for us. And we figured we would provide you, if you wanted, a canvas to
Oh
do
yeah, I was
anything.
definitely thinking about this. Is like whenever I see white, I want to put color.
Yeah, I
of
love
course.
that.
One
love
day
that's
you
great.
should like marker my whole body, like
Oh,
my
yeah,
skin,
tattoo,
and
yeah.
we do photos. That
Okay,
would be
in the
cool.
studio, I'll do that.
Oh yes,
That's
Both of
very
you, I
cool.
No
painted
clothes.
guys, no clothes. There's no
perfect.
problem.
In honor of
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I did paint the belly of Mark's wife.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah,
saw that.
That's
That's
great,
beautiful.
right?
It was amazing.
Yeah, I
It's
can
so
paint your bellies
fast.
too.
Well, the
Day
top
will
part
happen.
is pretty flat, so I don't have anything here. I'm a flat canvas for you. Okay, speaking of your art style, I'm really curious about this because a lot of people I've heard call your style pop art, right?
Right.
Or, trying to kind of classify you in some kind of genre. And I hear you constantly say, I just paint, I just
Yeah.
paint. And I'm wondering if you over the years have either thought of a word that describes your style. I know people say Romero style or Britto style, but I'm wondering what you think when you see your art, how you would describe it.
Oh my God! Wow, that's a really amazing question. For me to describe myself, my style. Yeah, a lot of people say it's a Britto style, Britto, whatever.
Yeah, you've developed your own style.
I don't think
I
anything
don't know.
looks
I
like
don't know
anything.
if you know, but one of the things that I did was, I'm the founder of the happy art movement because there was a
Yes.
time that many artists they really didn't paint anything happy or about around love, with the exception of Robert Indiana, that he became really famous to create that piece of art called Love. But most artists was like, creating so many dark stuff.
Yeah.
Many artists. And but I've really throughout the years I've seen beside of people get inspired in my work, but also artists putting more love into what they do, and whatever dark experience they were having, whatever darkness they see in the world, they instead to multiply darkness, they kind of make a little switch, like when
Yeah.
you change something to something else. What do you call that?
Transformation?
Well, transformation. You transform something like from dark to beautiful and in a message more positive. So anyway, but I people say all kind of stuff about my art. It's a good question. I really don't know if I'm gonna be able
The
to
jury is
answer to you as
I love the
elaborate
honesty.
as the question deserve.
No, it's
Which I definitely
There's no
gonna
wrong answer.
think more on that. Because, a lot of time what does happen is that art critics and people like in the arts, they keep like eventually come out, it's like, oh, this guy did whatever, you know what I mean? So wow, it's like, I hope that my art would remind people about being positive and happiness. The
Yeah.
art of happiness.
Yeah.
I think
Happy is your
more,
style.
yeah. Actually, I got the answer for you. The art of happiness, because we need that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough. I mean, even if we have everything, but not everything is enough to make you happy.
Yes.
There's more than everything.
And even in music, like there's room for all kinds of music, dark music, you know.
Right.
But I feel also a responsibility. I want people to feel joy,
Yeah.
you know, and like invoke that feeling of when you're watching a movie or you're looking at a piece, or you're listening to something. Happened to me yesterday. We're watching The Little Mermaid.
The new one.
And she is singing and her voice just got to this transcendental thing that my whole body changed. My energy went up, you know, my temperature went, it's like, can really make you
That can
happy.
inspire you and
Yeah.
touch you in a way that nothing can do it but music.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I always wanted was my art to be like music for people's eyes, because music definitely can touch
music
you
for
in a
people's
way
eyes.
that you just like, and I was like, my dream, I wanted my art to be like music for people's eyes, because when you look at, you just transport yourself to a place that is really special.
Yay!
I love that.
Launching.